Hey guys, I just want to welcome you guys back to my channel. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today, and I reached out to a cruising friend that I actually have not officially met. Her name is Laura. We were going to sail together on a cruise in May of 2020,
Mhm.
and we all know what happened with that. So I invited her on here today because I think she may love cruising more than me. I think. What do you think?
Well, I'm willing to go the mile and see who wins here. I think I'm in the running though.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so just start off. Tell us a little bit about how you got into cruising. What was your first cruise? What really kind of bit you into it? And just yeah, start with that.
Sure. Well, my very first cruise was in 1981.
Whoa.
It was a long time ago. I was like, just a little girl. And we went with my family. So my parents and my brother and I. It was a Carnival cruise at the time. And it I mean, at the time, like super luxurious and super fun. Loved it. Loved the whole week. Um, but then that was it. I mean, that's what that was at, and I never saw another cruise ship again until 2002,
Wow.
and that would have been my honeymoon with my husband. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, that was our honeymoon, and we loved it. At that time, that was out of San Juan. That was the Adventure. That was the Royal Caribbean Adventure of the Seas. Um, and then,
That
like
was it.
so many, yeah, that was it. Like that's where it's like, okay, I'm super hooked. Yeah.
Was your first cruise in the Caribbean on Carnival, or was it out of
Yes.
L? Yeah. Okay. Was it the Mardi Gras, the original Mardi Gras?
No, no. At that time, like again, we're going back many years, but I remember there were three ships, and one of them was called the Mardi Gras, and then I don't know what the other two were called, but they were like there was a really big one, which I think was the Mardi Gras, and then there was another one, and then there was a smaller one, and we were on the smallest one
Mm.
at the time.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of how I got started into cruising. My first cruise was in '92, I want to say, and I
Okay.
went on the Royal Caribbean Viking Serenade, and
Ooh.
it's not around anymore. It's
They
gone.
retired that one? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They retired. They sold it off to another cruise line. It was out of LA. It went to Catalina and it went to Ensenada. It was a weekend cruise, and I was with the marching band from my school.
Aw.
And so we went and we did a parade on Catalina, and it was fun. And I was hooked from then. But similar to you, I didn't cruise again until 2008, and I went on Liberty of the Seas. That was my first official week long in the Caribbean, and I was hooked. That was
Yeah.
it.
Well, the Liberty, I mean, we did other ships in between there. Like we did the Adventure, we did the Brilliance. Actually, we did the Adventure for our honeymoon, and then we didn't cruise again for another like 5 years.
Wow.
And then we were like, what the heck, right? And so we did the Brilliance, and we ended up doing the Panama Canal.
Oh
So
wow.
that one was a 10-day cruise. On a smaller ship. So that kind of started to give me a sense of what I liked and what I didn't much like about cruising. That started to give me a better idea. Um, and then after that, we went on the Liberty and we stayed on the Liberty. Like we stayed on the Liberty. We must have done the Liberty like 6 or 7 times. It felt like home. It felt like home to us.
Yeah,
In
I've
fact,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it felt I was we went from the Liberty to the Oasis. That was like the next one that we did. But I remember like being uncomfortable about making the leap. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to like another ship as much as I loved the Liberty. So it
I
was a tough decision.
yeah, I've done Liberty twice, and I did Independence once. And it's amazing to me, Liberty just had a better vibe all the
Yeah,
way around.
it's a
So
great ship.
it really was. It was we did it in 2008. We did a Western Caribbean cruise. It was Labadee, Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and Cozumel. And that was my first time in the Caribbean. It was my first time seeing any of these islands. My current Facebook picture is when I was on Grand Cayman. We rented mopeds. I mean, talk about the time of your life. And then I did the same leap. I went to Allure, but I was super excited. I did a couple in between too. I've done Celebrity. We did the Celebrity Solstice, and that was a lot of fun. An older crowd, but man, they wore us down. They were having a good time. And then we jumped on Allure, and oh man, I haven't been in the Oasis.
I haven't gone back. Like since we went to the Oasis, that was it. And since then, we've done the Oasis, the Allure a few times, the Harmony a few times, the Symphony. Now we just did it in May. We're going again in November. So yeah, I mean, now I feel like once you go Oasis, I don't know if I could go to, like a Quantum, for example. Like I don't know. I mean, I think I should try it, but it's a hard call when I love the Oasis class so much.
Yeah, I mean it's a great ship, especially as a family.
Yeah.
There's so much to do for everybody on that ship, and there's no way you're getting bored on that cruise. No way.
No.
And it's as fun as you want it to be. It's as refined as you want it to be. It's as relaxing as you want it to be. It's either they found a way in one cruise ship to get every possible desire just on one ship. So I think then that just means that you're going to have to go to Wonder next.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I guess like the only I mean, I'd have to look into it a little further. The only thing I just want to be sure about before we go on the Wonder is if they have a Broadway show, because that's important to me. That's important to us as a family. We loved Grease, which was on the Harmony. We loved Mamma Mia, that's on the Allure. Didn't love Cats, but could appreciate, the talent. Love Hairspray, that's on the Symphony right now. And I heard that Wonder doesn't have a Broadway show. So, I mean, they must have something. So I don't know what's replacing that. So I'd have to look into that a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. I saw Chicago when it was on Allure. That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I love Chicago. I saw Chicago. I must have been on the Liberty because I went on the Liberty like a million times. But I loved Chicago. I had seen Hairspray like another time, like years and years ago. They're so good. They're so good.
Again, it's one of those things. Like if that's not your thing, you can go find some rock music somewhere too at the same time, and just go whatever your desire is. You're going to be able to fulfill it on one of these ships.
Well, it's funny. My son and I were talking about because we went to the Symphony in May, and now we're going again in November. We said we should make a list of things that we didn't get to do in May, and like make sure that we do them in November. And you'd think that would be hard because we literally filled every minute of every day with like something, right? Having been away for almost 3 years, but it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard to come up with a list because there were a bunch of things that we couldn't get to. We couldn't get to karaoke. We couldn't get to the ice skating.
Wow.
Like we just couldn't do it because there was so much going on.
Do you ever dabble on Royal Caribbean Blog's website where he posts the cruise planners?
Oh yeah. And through the pandemic, oh my God, we were looking at those constantly. Yeah.
Oh man, I found one. The next cruise that I have planned is the Odyssey of the Seas for New Year's, and I've made a video about that. And I'm excited. I'm not nervous about jumping back onto a Quantum class ship from an Oasis ship. I sailed Navigator. My last cruise before the pandemic was Navigator, and I had a blast. It was a short cruise. I'm glad it was a short cruise. I think as you get into a longer cruise, you need to have a little bit bigger of a ship just because you want more things to do. But I was already scoping the cruise compass, and it's a 9-night cruise, which I've never done. But the only other one I could find is an 8-night cruise. But the only difference is that we get Coco K and they didn't on the 8-night cruise. So they added that for our stop, and we'll be in that stop that day with Freedom of the Seas, which is doing a short cruise on New Year's Eve. I have a feeling that island's going to be crazy fun.
You're in Coco K on New Year's Eve?
Yeah, but
And
it
what time are
sails
you
away at
leaving?
5 o'clock. I think we sail away.
Okay. Okay.
But still, it's going to be a fun day. I'm also one of the lucky few cruisers that's been to Coco K till the 10 o'clock stop.
Yes,
So
I
there was only a
know.
few cruises that did that, and I was lucky enough to be on one, and that was a fun night.
And they had fireworks, didn't they? Did you tell me
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
That would be
Um,
cool. That would be cool. Yeah.
yeah, so Laura and I were both booked on the May 2nd, 2020 cruise. And the
Yes.
way we met was in a Facebook group. And I had posted, or you had posted, I can't remember which one of us posted, that does anyone want to share a cabana in the water park? And we connected. And we're
And
like,
you
I
needed
had
a family
3.
of 3. That was the
Yeah.
other thing. You needed a family of 3, which we are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was your post, and I posted it, and I'm like, I'm in. And at that time, remember how cheap the cabana was? It was like
Oh my God.
$4.99.
So cheap. And now, whew,
What is it, $1,000 now to touch it?
I think it's more. Honestly, I think it's about 1,200. Well, at least, well, remember, I am Canadian, and I
Yes.
look at everything in Canadian dollars. So it's probably maybe less than 1,000 US, but I think it's around. I think when I last checked, around 1,200 Canadian.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
crazy.
lot.
Did
It's a
you
lot.
guys stop at Coco K on your last cruise?
Definitely,
How
definitely.
was it?
Yeah. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I remember, like I was on a Facebook group as well, and they were saying, "Oh, it's going to be so busy. There's going to be 2 ships in port. It's going to be crazy, the lineups." But that wasn't the case at all. The water park was fantastic.
Which other ship was there with you guys? Do you remember?
In the end, I don't think there was a second
Oh,
ship. I don't remember seeing one. So yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. No lineups. In fact, way better than the first time we went. The first time we went, the lineups were quite a bit longer. We were just walking. We were hand sanitizing like to the death of us, though. I mean, it was like every
so
time you get out of the water and go back up, they would force you to hand sanitize.
yeah. So
I
you
felt
guys
like I had no fingerprints left.
did the water park then?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my son and I did. We were traveling with another family. So we were
Okay.
just a couple, my neighbors. So my husband stayed with them, and they just enjoyed the beach and the restaurants and the big pool. And my son and I did the water park.
Yeah, I'm not doing the water park this time. I did it with my son last time. This time we're gonna chill. I have a feeling the pool's gonna have a lot of fun going on, and
Oh,
we'll just be, and the beaches are beautiful there.
I wouldn't be doing the water park if it wasn't for my son.
Yeah,
Like, no way.
I don't know. I mean, I think I would on a different cruise, but I think this one just doesn't warrant. It's January. I don't know that it's going to be all that like blazing hot out. I don't know what the weather in the Bahamas is going to be in the January. It looks like maybe in like the mid to upper 70s, maybe low 80s. So hopefully good enough to enjoy.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure. You're gonna have an amazing time.
I can't wait. And then I'll be able to clue you in on the differences between the Oasis class and the Quantum class ships. So
Yes, yeah, you'll have to. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, at some point, we do need to branch out. I'm not sure when, but at some point.
have you thought about branching onto Norwegian at all?
So no, we haven't. And I think a big part of it is because we do have diamond status on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's hard to give that up. I mean, it's not like tremendously huge, but it's enough that we like access to the Diamond Lounge. We do use it to go get our, cappuccinos in the morning. And, we have like, I think it's 4 free drinks a day per person. That includes my son.
Yeah.
So between the 3 of us, we have access to like 12 drinks a day.
No drink package needed.
Yeah, like no drink package needed. We're not heavy drinkers. So that's nice. I don't know. I'm one of those, like, I love the familiarity. I love the familiarity of Royal Caribbean. So no, we haven't thought about it.
No, I just find it interesting because of some of the things that you've clicked off that are important to you. They have super big ships, lots of activities, Broadway shows. So it just seems like it clicks a lot of your desires for cruising. So I thought that was just a good question because I know my parents went on the Bliss to Alaska, and they've also done Anthem in the Canadian Northeast cruise. And they like Norwegian better. They've told me they're like, our next cruise is going to be on Norwegian. We didn't enjoy the Royal experience as much as we have the Norwegian experience.
Oh,
So
interesting. Okay.
yeah, so that's just, but that's preference. They're older. Maybe there was something different about the ship. Plus, it had the Jersey Boys, and my dad's a huge Frankie Valley fan.
Oh,
So, but they said that show 6 was fantastic. The Cavern Club with the Beatles. So maybe it kind of catered to their age group a little bit, and with all this like kind of older stuff. But yeah, they love Norwegian. And we did the Norwegian Jewel to Alaska with them, and that was a great. It was a small ship, but it was a great cruise. Alaska is
yeah.
beautiful. So yeah, I've done almost. I need to do MSC and Princess, and then I've pretty much crossed all the major lines off my list.
Oh, wow. So Holland America, you've done Holland America?
Oh no, not Holland America.
Okay.
I don't know that I will though. That one
Okay.
doesn't really pique my interest at all.
Okay.
MSC Cruises is really piquing my interest right now with their
Really?
seaside and seascape. They're like, man, they look hip. They look fun. That their Marine Reserve Island that they have out there in the Bahamas looks fantastic, and they stay there for late night calls. Yeah, it's just, but I like change, so I'm a little opposite of you in that sense that I like the variety. But although on this cruise I'm going to get 18 points, and that's going to put me like a short cruise away from Diamond now.
Oh, good. We'll be able to hang out in the Diamond Lounge together.
Ooh,
If we
yeah,
actually ever get on a ship at the same time.
we will. So you mentioned you're going on Symphony again. You have a November cruise.
Yeah, November.
What's the itinerary on this one?
So this one is St. Martin, St. Thomas, and Coco K.
Okay, cool. Eastern Caribbean.
Out of Miami.
Oh, perfect.
Miami, yeah. And in May we were it was Cozumel, Roatan, Portamaya, and Coco K. It was 4, which that's the first time I've ever been on an Oasis class ship with 4 stops. First time.
How'd you like that?
I liked it. I mean, sometimes I actually do like to stay on the ship on a port day. I actually really like that. And we ended up doing that in Portamaya.
Yeah, there's nothing to do there.
I didn't think
there's
so
a pool.
either.
There's a pool at the cruise port, and I mean, there's a cool little village. We've gone there and had like guacamole and drinks once, but we were back on the ship early anyway. It's just, unless you book an excursion to like some Mayan ruins or something like that, there's not really much to do in that cruise port. So
yeah, so we didn't do anything, and it was great. I mean, everybody else did, and it was awesome. We had run of the ship.
Yeah.
We loved it.
How are the water slides on those ships? I haven't been on Harmony or Symphony or Oasis, so I haven't been when they've had the water slides on there.
Oh, so you haven't been on the water slides or the dry slide, the Abyss?
No, because I've only been on Allure twice, so I have not done any of the ships.
That hasn't had the amplification yet.
Yeah,
they're great. They're super fun. They are. I mean, like if you compare them to Coco K, they're kind of tame, right? But they're fun. I mean, the kids love them. They're a fantastic. They're a fantastic addition to the pool deck for sure. The Abyss is cool. The Abyss is cool.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you start on deck. What is it? What's the sports deck? That's 16?
Is it
deck 15?
Yeah, it's 18, 16. Isn't it? No, it's 16 because it's a 10 deck slide.
Okay, yeah. So start up there at 16 and you end up on the boardwalk, which is deck 6.
Right.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And
it's obviously popular because I mean they just added it to the Prima. So the Prima's got 3 of them. They've got 2 racing slides, and then they got another. I don't know what the other one is, but it's supposed to be crazy. It's like the steepest one at sea, and it's I think 10 decks instead of 8 or 12. It's bigger.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that the MSC World Europa is going to have one as well. So it's obviously a pretty popular attraction for people. So
Yeah, I mean, it's busy. It's busy all the time. Yeah. I mean, I do at some point while my son's still young enough, like I think I'd love to get on one of those ships that has like the bumper cars and the roller coasters and I mean that'll be cool too. So we'll probably want to try something like that. But
The-
he was now old enough to try some of the activities he could never try before. So he was able to do the flow rider.
oh, sweet.
He was
How
able to
do
do the
you
zip line. Oh, he did great. Great. I could never do that. Like, there's no way.
do?
He was up on his knees and
He's got good balance because he skis, though, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and I
yeah.
think that did help him a lot. So he was able to do that. He was able to do the zip line, like where, before he was too little to do those. So that was really, really cool. Like
That's
things that
so awesome. That's so
yeah, it
awesome.
was. I know, just talking about it. I gotta get on it now.
How
I'm
many
like
days you got?
87 days away or something like
How
that.
how many?
87, I
Oh,
think.
you're almost a check-in time.
I'm almost.
I think I check in like a week before you get on your cruise, so you got me beat for a little bit. I'm at like
Yeah,
120 days right now.
yeah.
This
What kind
just
of cabin are you in on yours? Did you get an interior or what did you choose?
I got a balcony,
Oh,
so I was gonna do an interior, but thank goodness for Facebook groups. I found the Facebook group for this cruise. There's a travel agent in that group that already had a huge block of group rates booked,
oh,
and I'm staying solo. So I'm going with a buddy, but he's getting a cabin, I'm getting a cabin. That's how I'm getting double cruise points, is because I'm by myself in this cabin.
oh, right.
And it was cheaper than an inside with her group rate.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
You've
I was
traveled
like,
on a balcony before?
yeah,
Have you
I
ever
have.
had a balcony?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I've also done inside. I don't mind either way. I'm a
yeah,
people person. I'm a people, like, I love people watching. So balconies are cool for me, but I spend a lot of my time in the public areas just because
yeah.
I like to watch people. So, but it's nice to be able to sit on the balcony and drink a cup of coffee and like look out at the ocean, especially at night. Like I said in my last video, when you're watching the lightning off in the distance at night, there's just something magical about that. It's so, I don't know, it's surreal to me. It's just
It's
surreal.
absolutely. Now on the sorry, it's the Ovation? Is that where you're which one?
Odyssey.
The Odyssey. Okay. So does that have inside cabins like the Oasis class? Like
As far as like,
like neighborhood balconies, like
no,
okay. So
no,
if you have a balcony, it's an ocean view.
it's an ocean view. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't do the interior corridor on this one. It doesn't even have a promenade. It has an esplanade, but it's a pretty big esplanade. So
What's the difference?
it curves
Oh.
instead of being straight down
Oh.
the middle of the ship. It kind of curves and winds down the middle of the ship. It looks pretty cool.
But same idea, like it's like a street, it's got shops and
Yeah,
clubs and restaurants and
yeah,
stuff.
same
Yeah.
idea. It looks much different. I mean, the Cplex up top looks awesome, and you could do the bumper cars in there, and they change it to ping pong, and they have all kinds of different activities up there. But it's got the Playmakers up there, and the Playmakers it's the biggest one on the fleet, and it overlooks this whole sportsplex, and people rave about it, how fun it is, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of New Year's Eve party up there, New Year's party on the Esplanade. So yeah, it should be pretty cool. But everybody also really says the shows and the entertainment back in 270, which is the back of the ship. During the day, it's just floor to ceiling windows, and then at night they turn into like an LED screen, and they're part of the show. It looks fantastic.
Oh my God, that
Yeah,
does look so
so
high tech. It's got a
real
lot of
high
high
tech.
tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to be on the inaugural sailing of that one. I had booked a
Yes.
solo cabin balcony, but we all know what happened with that one
We
too.
all know what happened there.
So, oh man, so trying to get caught up on my cruising. So this will be the initial one, and then my goal is to get 6 in next year.
Whoa,
Yeah,
nice.
I'm going big next year. I'm gonna use LA for a couple of them. So
Yeah.
I don't
And
have
that
to
you
fly.
should, right? Like that's the challenge. That's the challenge for us, right? I mean, even if we wanted to drive, like, it's as far to drive to our East Coast as it is to drive to Florida. And it's even further to drive to our West Coast because I
Yeah,
live in Ontario. So, if I want to do like Maritimes, it's not a drive. And if I want to do Vancouver, it's not a drive.
Right.
So yeah.
You're
So for us, it's
landlocked.
always, yeah, we're landlocked. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So
Uh,
it's always Florida for us. Although at some point when our son gets a little older, I think I might want to venture into like Mediterranean. We're
yeah.
not there yet, but I think in the next several years I may want to try that just for something new. We've literally done the Caribbean. Like,
You
I
haven't
don't think
done-
there is. I don't know that there's an island we've not been to. Like I
have
can't.
you done Alaska? You haven't done Alaska?
So we haven't done Alaska on a cruise, no. But I did. I was up in northern Canada, like I was in the Northwest Territories, and we took a drive over to Skagway, Alaska, to the cruise port.
And it didn't make you
Um,
want to jump on a ship right away?
it did. It did. There was a ship in port, and I was like, "What are we doing? We gotta get on that boat." So I've done Skagway like that way, but no, not as I don't know. Like
It
it
is.
doesn't appeal to me super much, but I don't know.
It's.
Maybe one day.
I. It. You got to do it. You got to do
I
it.
hear.
Yeah, you have to do it. That it's because the cruise itself, while you're cruising, is as much a part of the entire adventure as a port stop because you're between mountains. There's
Mhm.
glaciers, there's wildlife, there's islands, it's just beautiful. And it's so different because you're right. It's not this, beachy vibe and party and this and that. But man, it's amazing. And like I said, we did it on a small ship and it didn't feel like you were on a small ship just because everything around you is so massive and big and beautiful. But I would like to do it on like the Bliss or one of those ships because there are a lot of opportunities to have just a lot of fun. And it seems like everything the Bliss has like faces outwards. So you would
Mhm.
really get to enjoy that environment while you're partaking in the cruise ship.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you up there.
Listen, I mean, you name it, and I'll never say no outright. I'll look into every option.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Mediterranean too. When my kids are older, for sure,
Yeah.
we're gonna go over there and experience. And my parents want to go, but they're getting older now too. But they were talking about doing it. Their 50th anniversaries next year, and they were
Mm.
like, maybe we should do a Mediterranean cruise. I'm like, well, maybe we should.
As a
I'm like
family,
you. Yeah, let's jump on it.
let's go.
So
Sure. Yeah.
awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking with me today about cruising.
Joe, this is so good.
Yeah.
Listen, I can talk about cruising anytime.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely, when you come back from your next cruise and before I go on mine, in between that time, let's meet back up and we'll talk about your cruise and we'll talk about my upcoming cruise. You can get me pumped, ready to go, even though you probably won't have to. I'll probably be already
Yeah, you're quite
bouncing
pumped.
off the
Yeah.
walls. And yeah, we'll catch up.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
Nice talking with you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.